Well, hello. Today we're going to travel back to 2018, where I had a much more exciting shirt on to introduce the Delta Dolcevita masterpiece. So I'm going to let 2018 me talk about it in front of his old green screen, and then we'll look at my modern writing sample, the one I just did, and a couple of my other older comments, and then I will close with a few contemporary comments about the Delta Dolcevita masterpiece. And one funny thing, if you hear a noise in the background, I'm running a fan to get the smell of bacon out of the air. And I noticed in my old review, which I used to film in the basement, there is something buzzing in the background. I don't know what it is. It sounds like a fluorescent light, but I don't have one down there that buzzes like that. So you get a noise for both videos. So let's dive into 2018. Well, hello. I'm wearing a fake shirt. No, okay, the shirt's real, but part of it's fake. I've got this lovely pocket here I can't seem to unbutton, and then when I reach my finger in, I find out why. There's no pocket there. Looks like there's a pocket, looks like something, but there's nothing there. Well, that brings me to my first impression of this pen. So this is a Delta Dolcevita masterpiece. So this comes in a very nice box. This is, I believe, new old stock. I got it at a kind of nice price. You might see where the shirt's coming in there if you know Delta. If you don't worry, we'll get there. So this is just a cardboard sleeve that slides off. You're left with a fabric-covered cardboard box, very plain. I was honestly kind of hoping I'd get something fancy, but I didn't. Inside, the ink I'm going to fill the pen with. So we'll set it over here so I don't forget about it. And another box and some literature. All right, so this is the Delta Dolcevita masterpiece. I bought this back when the company was still a going concern, which I guess it's back in business in some version or another. So let's just take a look at it. I bought it, when they were going out of business. So we have a very fancy little cap band here. We have, what's that say? Mid-size, there we go. So they came in several sizes. This is a mid-size. Made in Italy, and apparently that's a number. Up here, we have the name engraved, Delta Dolcevita Masterpiece, and the rest of the pen is unadorned with anything. I think it's an interesting finish, attractive. This is actually a converter, but you can fill it without opening up the barrel. Just curious here. Okay, I was wondering why it was squeaking, because it's plastic on metal. Open it up. Okay, what the hell is that? Well, that, my friends, is a fusion nib. So what's Delta do as their company is struggling? Well, let's see. Let's sell our luxury pen with a steel nib, but we want people to think they're getting something special, so let's slap a piece of gold on it that hardly weighs anything, and then people will think they're getting a special fusion nib. And what they would talk about is how somehow the interplay between these two metals would cause the ink to heat up and make it flow better, which I never read a very convincing scientific explanation for that. But I have also read about these fusion nibs where the gold bit falls off. So far, that has not happened to me, but... Alright, so the Delta Dolcevita masterpiece is a cartridge converter pen. Yes, we can open it here at the barrel. So it's a fancy little converter in it. Or you can snork in a cartridge if you're into that kind of thing. Let's see. So the ink in it is Girbon. Blue Myosotis. I'm seeing that it's a little darker than expected, mainly because this pen, I was writing with it and then I decided to film this video, so it's been sitting here, so the ink, some of the water has evaporated out, basically. So is this a flex pen? No. Not even close to being a flex pen. I'd say there's a little bit of line variation, but, you know, nothing crazy. Sorry, I'm just drawing a total blank of what I'm supposed to do next. Smear test. Yeah, it's a pretty wet pen. And actually, you know, for as much as I might want to mock this Fusion nib, it is a very good steel nib. I don't know that the gold piece on it does a thing. I haven't heard any good convincing science that tells me it does. But it is a nice writer. I think Delta had some good pens. But this little Gambit seems a lot like desperation to me. Reverse writing. Hey, who knows? Maybe some other companies will copy this because apparently the price of gold is going up again. So it was sort of scratchy, extra fine. And finally, the world-famous Pierre Gustafsson test. One skip, but I think it was my fault. And because this is a survivor pen, we're going to do a little bit of a quote. Oh, let's go with Julia Child. Not quite appropriate for the pen, but it'll work. I feel like there's maybe is a message in there, actually. Have an honest steel nib. Forget about the gold. And I can't get it to focus, but have an honest steel nib. Forget about the gold. Maybe knock the price down a little. I don't own a pen company. Maybe if I owned one, it would go out of business, but... Oh yeah, so did Delta. So... whatever they were doing wasn't working. Some very nice pens in my collection right now that could not do this. But it does! Whatever that means to you. I mean, I don't write like that, but it does give you an indication of the flow of the pen. So that is the Delta Dolcevita masterpiece. What I think, way overdone packaging. Gorgeous, gorgeous pen. Very good writer. The Fusion nib thing is a gimmick. I'm certain when I read their literature, I'm not going to find my mind changed, because at the time it came out, I did really research this Fusion nib because I kept trying to make sense of it. And my physics background, I was just like, I couldn't leave it alone. I was like with a dog with its bone stuck in its teeth. That didn't make sense. I was like a dog with a bone stuck in its teeth. I just couldn't stop. I had to know. But... nice writer, attractive pen, and I'm not sorry I bought it. I'm liking how it writes. Now we'll see as I use it, because this is one of the limitations of a first impressions video. It took a while to saturate the nib so it would start writing. Is that a normal thing? Every time I pick it up to write, will it be like, oh, let me think about that for a while, or will it start writing? I don't know. So when I eventually finally do the video where I review it, we'll hopefully answer that question. That was the Delta Dolcevita masterpiece. So I bought it around 2018. You saw, back then I was doing true, honest to God, first impressions. I mean, I literally, that's when I got it out of the box. That's when I inked it up. That's when I wrote with it. Nowadays, when I film a first impression, you see the writing and so on right as I first get it out. But then the conversation from me is usually after a fill or two of ink. Well, I've had 7 years of fills of ink on this pen now. A little less than 7, but close enough for dog's years. That didn't make sense. So what do I think now? I think it is a very comfortable pen to hold. I like how it looks. It feels good. It looks good. It writes well. You know, like I said back then, it is a louder pen as far as feedback, but it doesn't feel feedbacky. It just sounds feedbacky. It's a very nice steel nib pen. Oh, and there's a piece of gold glued to it. What's the gold do? Still don't know. Their claim back then was that, well, it's differential heating because it's different materials, and the gold heats up the ink so it flows better. Well, no, it doesn't. There's no sense to how this nib works. Delta was trying to save the cost of gold, but still be able to sell their pens at gold nib pen prices. That said, it's a very nice steel nib pen. And steel is not the low-quality material some people seem to think it is. A lot of very good nibs are steel. So, nothing at all wrong with steel. Delta just couldn't quite go in that direction. So, I ink this pen up every so often. I do enjoy writing with it. I'm trying to think of any other comments that I made back then. I had to rewatch the video because it was been so long I kind of forgot. I don't have, or do I? I think I might still have that shirt. I can't tell. It's these bright lights here. I can't see into my bedroom past them. It's all just black over there where you're sitting. But anyway, I was poking fun in that intro at the fact that this is a pen with basically a fake nib. It's not really gold. It just looks like it's gold. And it's not really a piston filling pen. It's actually a cartridge converter pen. I mean, it's a piston in the converter, but I don't think I did a pocket test. At least I don't remember seeing one. Now, this is a thick shirt. It took 2 tries, but it went over the shirt. So it is a stiff clip, but not too stiff. It'll give. Would I buy it again? At the price I bought it, sure I would. I took a peek on eBay to see what they're going for now. This hasn't gone up in value as much as some of my other pens have, because I have a handful that are just like, maybe I should sell that. But no, not going to. This isn't one of them. It's gone up, but not enough to be worth selling it. What I'm seeing is it's more getting to the price of, what it would have sold for used back then. So it may change, but hasn't yet. So I do see that Delta is back. Can't say anything intelligent about them. Not that interested. I liked this one. I liked my Delta Serena. May she rest in peace. We had an accident. But I don't feel the need to add any more Deltas. One other thing I think is worth noting, because I made a big deal out of it in the original first impression. I mean, watch the original video, because I only gave you a tiny piece of it. I made a big deal about packaging. I used to make a bigger deal about packaging in pens. Not because I liked it, because I didn't like it. I still don't like it. Give me the pen, save some money on your packaging. This had very elaborate packaging. You know how much I've used that packaging in the 7 years since I bought the pen? No, go ahead. Really, just guess. Did you say not at all? Did you? You're right. I haven't touched the packaging since I bought the pen. The only reason I will ever touch the packaging for this pen is if it's on top of packaging I want to get at. Oh, but I probably won't, because I won't want to get at that either. The packaging is useless once you've bought the pen. Maybe if I had a huge house and I had big display cabinets, I could display the pen in its original packaging. Otherwise, what's the point? I'm not a fan of packaging. I do still have the ink bottle. And I'm going to be using it soon because this is going to be my next black ink. So 7 years on, I still have the ink bottle. Have not used it up. Another sign about this packaging and how much, god awfully, the large amount of ink I have. But I do realize that for some people, the packaging is just part of the experience of a luxury pen. To me, it's, I want the pen. I don't care about the packaging. And since I'm unlikely to ever sell this pen, yeah, just taking up space because I keep telling myself, oh, those couple of pens you decided to sell after all, you kind of wish you'd kept their packaging. Well, it may be time for more purging. Get rid of some of this packaging because, yeah, don't use it. But the pen is nice. It writes well. It's a very good steel nib. As far as I know, Delta hasn't journeyed back to the Fusion idea. And kudos to them for that. So, I want to thank you for watching. And hope you found this useful. Or maybe you found this totally useless. I don't care. I'm just glad you watched this far to find out. So, thank you for watching. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.